Captain James Walker sat cross-legged on the floor of his cell, counting. 4,321. 4,322. The Zealothy guard outside made that irritated clicking sound again. For 3 weeks, the human had been counting aloud. Every waking moment. The guard had reported it repeatedly, but command dismissed it as a primitive coping mechanism. The Zealothy Empire had taken Walker during a routine diplomatic meeting. The perfect hostage, Earth's most decorated military strategist, now leveraged to force humanity's surrender. They'd broadcast his capture across the galaxy, showing the famous Captain Walker helpless in their maximum security prison station orbiting a dead star. 4,338. 4,339. What the Zealothy didn't know was that Walker had volunteered to be captured. 3 months earlier, Earth's Intelligence Division had intercepted Zealothy communications planning the kidnapping. Instead of preventing it, Walker had proposed something audacious. Let them take him, because the Zealothy, in their arrogance, would put him exactly where humanity needed someone, inside their most secure facility, the same station that housed their quantum communication network hub. 4,356. That number meant something. It was the frequency of the station's artificial gravity generators, measured in cycles per second. Walker hadn't been counting randomly. He'd been measuring everything. Guard rotations, ventilation cycles, power fluctuations during shift changes, the brief moments when force fields weakened during maintenance. The Zealothy believed human memory was like theirs, limited, requiring external storage for complex information. They couldn't fathom that Walker had spent years training with memory palace techniques, turning his mind into a living computer. Every number he spoke aloud was being encoded, stored, cross-referenced. On day 24, Walker stopped counting. The guard noticed immediately, approaching the cell with curiosity. For the first time in weeks, the human was silent, standing in the center of his cell with his eyes closed. Finally broken, primitive? The guard sneered through the translator. Walker opened his eyes and smiled. Actually, I just finished. At that exact moment, every light in the station went dark. In the blackness, Walker moved. His counting had revealed that the backup power took exactly 3.7 seconds to activate. The force fields, however, needed 4.2 seconds to reinitialize. He had a 0.5-second window. He'd calculated the guard's position based on breathing patterns. A single precise strike to the Zealothy's primary nerve cluster. Location memorized from weeks of observation. The guard crumpled. Emergency lighting flickered on to reveal Walker holding the guard's weapon, already moving down the corridor. He wasn't escaping. He was advancing toward the station's core. The Zealothy had thought they were so clever, placing their quantum communication hub in the same station as their high-value prisoners. One location, maximum security, efficient. But Walker had counted 847 steps from his cell to the hub, measured during his exercise walks. He'd memorized every turn, every door, every security checkpoint. Alarms screamed. Zealothy soldiers poured into the corridors. But Walker wasn't trying to be stealthy anymore. He was being loud, obvious, drawing every guard toward him and away from the station's exterior. Because the real plan wasn't his escape. While the Zealothy focused on recapturing their prize hostage, they didn't notice the small human stealth ships attaching to the station's hull like remeras. 24 days of counting had given Earth's forces everything: guard positions, security protocols, system vulnerabilities. Walker had been broadcasting it all, encoded in his endless numbers, through the Zealothy's own transmission of their broken prisoner to the galaxy. Walker reached the quantum hub just as Zealothy forces surrounded him. He raised his hands in apparent surrender, weapon clattering to the floor. "You've lost, human," the Zealothy commander snarled, entering the hub. "You're trapped." "I know," Walker replied calmly. "I've been trapped for 24 days. But you see, Commander, that was the plan." The commander's 4 eyes narrowed in confusion, then widened in horror as human special forces materialized throughout the hub, their adaptive camouflage dropping. In seconds, the most secure facility in Zealothy space was under human control. Walker picked up a communication device, connecting to Earth Command. Package delivered. The Zealoty quantum network is ours. Through that network, humanity now had access to every Zealoty military communication, every fleet movement, every defense grid. The Empire's entire infrastructure, handed over by their own arrogance. The commander stared at Walker in disbelief. You planned to be captured? Walker shrugged. You thought you had a hostage. He gestured to the human forces now flooding the station. You had a human with a plan. And honestly, this was easier than we expected. The age of Zealoty dominance ended not with a massive battle, but with a single human, counting in a cell, turning captivity into conquest.